No, yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
And I think I'll probably be okay. In part one, we're in record, and I think I'm doing everything right. Right, Anthony. In part one, we covered a lot of ground, but one of the things you sort of mentioned was the ability of TR series vehicles, or what would you call them? Spacecraft, or
They're just yeah, they're craft. I say TR series craft.
yeah,
That's what I refer to them as.
yeah. And we had a little bit of a thing at the, and you had also appeared at the first full disclosure now event last year, and at the full disclosure now, you got to put that impact into with the now. We had a couple of planes flying around outside across, just along the beach at Tampa, at St. Pete's Beach in Tampa, and they were towing advertisements and things. And one of them was towing a Israeli flag. And I managed to get a couple of pictures on that and also a little bit of video, and I had a look at it. And the thing about it is that the other planes, they tow the flag quite close to the plane, the advert, because they've got to take off from it. They've got to take off with that attached to them. And they've got to obviously not have that wrapped around anything and continue to fly. But also when they're coming into land, do you know if they just break the cable and let whatever they're towing hit the ground, or do they land with it behind them? Do you know that or not?
I don't know about that, how they do it with the ads, but I do know about the technologies that's being used to create that image that people are seeing. Because when I saw that picture that was posted up with the the aircraft towing the flag, the Israeli flag, I've had countless other experiences, and that's why I was able to inform you of it actually being a TR series craft, because in my personal awakening, I started realizing planes and stuff flying around me all the time. Also, black helicopters, every type of military plane, every type of helicopter, every type of aircraft you can imagine, and for the past since 2012. So I've even had the same thing where I've been flown around by craft that were towing banners. You know that I'm saying they're towing banners, and even to the point to where the banners were saying what I was just talking about. Because I was just talking about one time I was talking about Mark Wahlberg, and then the banner said Mark Wahlberg's Automotive on it. So there, these craft that are flying around are able to know your thoughts. They're able to monitor you, especially super soldiers. And when I saw that picture of that craft towing the Israeli flag, I knew that was a TR series craft that was projecting the image of a craft towing that flag.
There's a couple of
Because
things about there's a couple.
these same
Yeah,
craft, these same craft are the ones that are responsible for the abductions, for the MyLabs. When I was taken in Operation Green Star as a child, these craft that are flying around that you're seeing, that everybody's seeing too, but they're holographically producing planes and stuff, so people will think it's planes. You know what I'm saying? They'll see a commercial jetliner flying over, but that's not really a commercial jetliner. It's an anti-gravity TR series craft producing that image. And once people start waking up to this more, they'll start seeing the holographic, matrix in front of their own eyes, because what's behind that is very, very advanced.
now the just to sort of look at the picture, which I can't show right now, but the point is there's no wire towing it, and
Right. And
the
you'll see,
flag is too rigid. It's not fluttering. But the other thing is it's too far away from the alleged aircraft. So if that was to come into land and the plane allegedly landed that banner would be catching something at the end of the runway. It would crash. It would be too far away from the plane in order to sort of logically. Oh, one of my recorders has just come out. Oh, this is quite interesting. The recorder recording me has just stopped. So.
Oh no. No, I know we're this is really getting into some sensitive stuff ahead of time, because I'm revealing the technology that they're going to use in the fake alien invasion.
Right. I just want to check the other recorder I've got here. So my backup is it's always useful to have your backup. It's because sometimes you use it. Okay, so in fact, I've got a little camera to check that. So a long time ago, a friend of mine came to me, and he was a guy called Ray Wardle, and he was taking an awful lot of video, high 8, I think digital 8, NTSC, obviously video. He was English. He was English Italian. And he used to do the security cameras in one of the casinos, and in the spare time he'd go out to Red Rock Canyon outside Las Vegas, and he was getting stuff flying so fast through that canyon. In other words, on one freeze frame, you wouldn't get a single image. It was traveling so fast that by the next time the TV image, you get 2 images in TV, and they add it together, separated by a 60th of a second, right? So in a 60th of a second, whatever he filmed had moved. So far, you can actually see 2 images on the still frame of the tape. And then while he went out there, he noticed that there was a plane flying around. He actually shot at it, and it was one of his little incidents that he got into. And he didn't think it was a plane. So we're going back to the 90s. It was some kind of projection.
Yeah, yep. They're obviously getting the technology out back then, and it's been being used, even to the point to where this explains what happened in 9/11, because the holographic planes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it was secret space program technology used.
Anthony, I just think that's a load of rubbish. It's a conspiracy theory. That plastic perspex thing that they put at the very front of the plane, obviously that can travel through the whole building and come out at the other end fully intact. And I know as well as you do that aluminium wings cut straight through feet thick steel and concrete just like a cookie cutter, because I believe everything that's on TV.
Well, this explains it, because they use this technology, the holographic technology, the holograms. They use this technology to have an actual attack on us, which they're going to do it again in the future, and when they do the fake alien invasion, because they're going to use this technology, this holograms, and they're going to create a show in the sky. But they're also going to use the craft that are creating the images too, to make it look like they're fighting the alien threat. So this is all part of the technology that they're going to use.
And the year-end fireworks displays with drones. I mean, they're pretty impressive when you got all these drones making images in the sky.
Yeah, but now that's impressive. But what you are seeing, and I'm seeing too, is they can literally create a military a black helicopter, and you think it's real. You don't know what's behind it.
At the conference, there was a black helicopter that flew right across beside the outside marquee, and it looked like a big old-fashioned black helicopter, a little bit like what you would see in Tintin, Hergé's Adventures of the Cartoon Series Tintin, like the old-fashioned 1950s type helicopter.
Yeah.
Do you think that was? Yeah. I mean, that was loud
that was a TR series crap, because I'm telling you, everything you're telling me, I already know. I already get flown around by all these planes and black helicopters all the time. But when you're seeing a plane flying straight at you and it's going sideways like this, but going forward, that you're seeing anti-gravity technology. And sometimes you'll notice that these planes, actually a lot of times, are moving way slower than what an actual plane should be able to move. So you can then, with your brain, realize that you're seeing a technology and an anti-gravity craft is what's producing that. And the anti-gravity craft is cloaked because I sent you those images. I sent you those images of
Right.
these craft.
Um,
And
well, here's. I think this is. Have I got this? That's the one. Is that the one?
yep,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's get the mouse off it. What
And
what do you mean by that? Is that
well,
explain that?
as you can see, if you look at this image, you can see a black. This is a black triangle, what it looks like in 3D, but it's a higher dimensional object being shown in 3D because it's being shown up here. So you're seeing it in 3D, but you can also see that it's black. It's black and sleek. Like the material is obviously not something from this realm.
But
And
I
it's
mean, that's an artist's impression. It's not an actual photograph, isn't it? No.
right, right. It's not, but that's the closest thing you're going to get to
Yeah.
it because if I'm telling you, if these black helicopters and that Israeli flag plane came uncloaked, that's what you'd be seeing, and that's what would be projecting that holographic images.
Now, what is the correct term for that holographic? Is there a term that we need to learn? A new term?
It's just a projection. It's an illusion. It's a
Yeah.
projection. It's because you can even see it where the black helicopters fly by, and you can actually see the pilots, but that's not even real either. That's a projection too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how detailed they can get because they can make. I've had pink helicopters fly over me, but that's them showing that they're able to create any projection.
Not pink elephants then.
No, they could do that too. I'm not even joking around. But what I've done is I've seen one of these come uncloaked. This was in my dream, but it was a black triangle like this coming uncloaked. Because if you see one of these things, which you see them all over the place, you'll see the three red lights. And then if you just go outside, like tonight, whenever you want, and look up into the sky, and you start to look at planes you think are planes, you'll start to notice that the lights are not FAA regulation. And you'll start to see them start oscillating, and you'll start to see these three dots and even a dot in the middle. And I have them all over me all the time, and they're everywhere. And that's what I'm saying is these craft are. In my dream, what happened was one of these landed because when this whole alien invasion happens, they're going to use these to create holographic images, but they're also going to use these to fight them as well. Because I've actually seen this in my dreams too. I had a memory of the because I'm remembering the future. That's what's happening to me right now because I've already been to the future and then put back. So I'm just remembering the future, and I've seen the fake alien invasion, what happens, and that's why I'm able to explain to you all this stuff right now.
Well, that's what we want to hear. Everything to do with that. I was out on a date with a couple of women type people, very nice. But the way I came home wasn't the way that the road was meant to be. The main road it's called the M3, and it tails off onto what's called the A303, and the bridges weren't the same, and the turn-off wasn't the same, and I'm not entirely sure whether everything we did that day was maybe, was actually a real thing. I've been in a car with Maria Wheatley. She's a brilliant lady, a local lady. She's done a lot of cutting edge work on Stonehenge and long skulls, and also electrical energies within the megalithic stones, making them a very high, energetic technology. Not a bunch of people with, in grass skirts, putting a bunch of rocks up. We were coming back from a major UFO conference, which I think. It doesn't matter. It was a big event, I think the last of its kind in north of Manchester. We were missing 30 miles twice. On the way into Birmingham from Manchester, we're missing 30 miles. And then when we leave Manchester, we're missing another 30 miles. So a 200-mile drive only did about 130 miles. It's great for saving petrol, but it would seem that they needed 30. Whatever happened they needed it for me, and they needed it again for her. But we both noticed that something was wow, we're just coming up to Birmingham. It's at least an hour, a couple of, and suddenly we're there in about a few minutes.
Yep. Yeah, I just recognize that as, you were taken out of time, and you were, memory wiped, and then, but you didn't realize it, but you have little inklings in your reality that let you know that something happened like that. And that's what happened. You got taken out of the simulation. You got taken out of time. You don't remember it. And then you're placed back.
I came up with a phrase a long time ago. I call it the RMS, Reality Management System. Is that, have you heard anything like that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I would call it the Adjustment Bureau,
that's right.
Yeah. Definitely they're, Men in Black, they're part of a division, in the, ACIO actually. And, they're the 6th division, but yeah, they're reality management system. People are, getting taken out of this reality and then put back. And that's what these 20 and backs are all about. And, we're recalling now. The recall's starting to come back. It's starting to break through.
Okay, what is the 20 and back program? We've heard a lot of the people talk about it. What is it?
Well, okay, so as far as I know, they come from the future, because that's where I was taken. And when you're taken, it's like a blip of time. You don't even realize you're gone here, but then you go through a whole nother life in this reality that's parallel to ours, and it is in another dimension, and it's interdimensional, and you go through a whole life there, 20 years. There's obviously longer, 40, 60 years or whatever. But I've from my files, I've learned I've done multiple of these 20 and backs and been re-aged and de-aged. So my soul and experience is much older than my body, incorporates.
Okay, what do you look for? What signs do you look for that would give you an idea that's happened?
First of all, I would say memories coming back, like memories that shouldn't be yours or you don't remember. Like I have all the memories of my missions, you know what I'm saying, that I've had, which are obviously don't relate to this earth at all. So that's what starts coming back. You start having bleed throughs happening of all everything that's been erased from your mind. And that started happening to me once I got out of the military. I started remember being teleported to the moon. I had a memory about.
Tell us all about the moon. It's way back when this whole thing started for me, way back in '94, when Barry King explained that his father had encountered at the close of World War II these strange labs in Germany and these strange-looking people. He didn't call them cyborgs, but that was when they were making aliens or making alien versions or trying to, and that was all brought to this country. And that's the key to it was the key to it was he was talking about programmed generated life forms, PGLFs, and we were making them in our labs here, and they looked like it was very like the Dulce base, where they were making greys there, but the ones they were making in Britain had rounder eyes. That was the giveaway, right? Mm-hmm. So to a completely different person, she explained that we're making generated life forms for use on the lunar base. So this is a completely different person, no connecting. And she mentioned that we were making these things for the lunar base. Is there a lunar base or a whole pile of them, or what?
Okay, so I mean, I know that there's Lunar Operations Command is just the main center hub on the moon, but obviously there's other entities up there. ICC, Industrial Corporeal Conglomerate. It's just a whole big
Tell us,
operation.
tell us everything.
I'm trying to. I'm trying to.
Well, go
Miles.
ahead.
I'm trying to tell you what I remember. But that's after all the training, that you go through in the deep underground military bases here. You obviously get shipped up to Lunar Operations Command to start doing more training up there for the deployments. Because I remember being, I believe it was a jump room that I was taken into, and I remember being teleported to the moon. Because the memory was, I just remember the Earth just going away from me, and then I remember being on the moon, and then being transferred there to. I remember going through classrooms there, like I was in classes, and I was being taught by Nazis. Like we were in a hangar bay, and there was a woman teacher, a Nazi teacher there, and I was in a classroom full of children, and there was a Hennebu craft in the hangar bay with me. And I remember that as a memory coming back from my memories on the moon. And then also children in classrooms where there was an advanced screen in front of us, and we were getting taught by Hitler about Atlantis. And I believe that this was all indoctrination, obviously, into the secret space program. And this was stuff that I was going through on the moon before.
What sort of age was Hitler? What sort of? I mean,
He looked like Hitler. He looked like Hitler in his prime. And so those were just a couple memories I had.
What age were you when this was happening?
I believe that I was like a teenager at this time.
So that would be in the 70s?
What's that?
What sort of era are we talking about?
Was I a teenager?
Yeah, what sort of age were you?
I was like probably like I was 99, 2000, like
Right.
years.
Okay.
For me, because that's when I was going through my secret space program experience. And so
But what I'm
I'm
trying to get here is, was this a recording of Hitler in like the 40s, the 60s or something?
Right.
Or was it was it Hitler actual or a clone of Hitler?
Is probably a clone or something, because I just remember him being on an advanced screen and the children being taught by him by Atlantis. And I don't think, or maybe it was Hitler still alive, just using technology to, I don't know, but that's what I remember.
I mean, I remember seeing a photograph of George Bush Senior, and he was it was cropped, but you had the ear of an older man, and it was Hitler's ear. So he would have been in his 90s or something when that photograph was taken. But he didn't. He died soon. My understanding, he died in the 70s or something like that. But I'm just trying to see whether it's a real Hitler or anyway. Keep going up, please.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. You have all the information, Miles, because you've been in this the long, like one of the longest. So
yeah,
I know you're putting together all the pieces and stuff. So I understand, but so that's what I'm doing too. That's what I've been doing since my awakening in 2012, and remembering missions, and that's when I started remembering missions and actually flying those TR series craft that I showed you, and interdimensionally traveling in them, because I remember flying one of those and being in the lotus position, and one of those an interface being over my head while I was piloting one of these craft, and there were just many other missions that were coming back, like missions of rescue missions, assassination missions, planetary liberation missions, espionage missions. A lot of the missions I remember, like I don't know if I told you about this one last time, But I remember being in this high rise, skyrise or skyscraper, and I was being chased by agents. And I just remember going into a elevator, and then I was posted up in the elevator, and they started shooting the elevator, just full of, just riddling it with bullets. And then they cut the elevator cord and made me fall like 100 stories. And then because I was in my super soldier mode, I actually survived that. I was shifted into my super soldier mode, and I survived the fall, and I got out. And then when I got out, I remember agents being all around. And then I started running up the walls. I started running up the walls really fast. And then I started targeting people with guns that came out of my hands. And I started just multiply targeting everybody and killing everybody.
It's are you talking like Jason Bourne?
You could say that. I was definitely on an espionage mission where I was getting something, I was stealing something, because that's what we're sent in for. The super soldiers are infiltrated, and then a lot of the times the missions don't go successfully, and that's why a lot of the times we're running away and escaping and having to get away because we either stole something or we're sabotaging something. And that's what when I got a hold of my files from Peter the Insider of the ACIO, which it took me in 2016 is when I met him. And I still am connected with him now, getting updates, everything. And when I found him, I knew that I had found the information that I was looking for, because he was able to inform me that I was a super soldier for Kruger and Monarch. And he was able to tell me what planets I've been to, what missions I've been on, just give me a full layout of my MyLab experience. And he's been able to fill me in with that for the past 8 years now, 9 years. So the ACIO and Peter the Insider are the most legitimate source of intel that I have, and I will stand by that. I will definitely stand by that.
I had a very short, brief time with him, with a very nice individual. I wasn't able to understand what he was trying to say, and I didn't connect for me at that time. But I was in my very heavily skeptical mode, because I'm very cautious.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I know personally. Because I've known him. That's the case for a lot of people that he talks to, because the information is so high level. Like, there really are only like 10 people in the world that knows what he knows. That's why his face is darkened out, because he's at such high level of classification. So if anyone's wondering why he doesn't show his face, it's because of that.
Have you heard of another system called Gladio? A European system?
It sounds familiar.
I think it involves French. I was talking to a guy, and the way they conducted messages wasn't an actual message of anything that you would see in a file or a group of files. It was sent using a thing called a Gladio code, and it would be server volume traffic. So the codes would be in the volume of traffic in servers. So they would just have a lot of servers going up and down with activity, but it wouldn't be what the servers were actually doing. It was just the number within the number servers working, and that was a Gladio code. It was like a Morse codey thing. Yeah,
I know that the system that he gets it on is, it's some system that is, I don't even know how to explain it, but that's where all his information is coming from. And he can go on for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours for however many people about all this information. So he is obviously connected to something to be able to be given this information out. And he is actually still doing. Because in the beginning, when he started reading the files, he was doing it for free. He was reading for people, and a lot of people wouldn't be able to understand this information, so they were getting mad at him You know what I'm saying? And
Okay.
having the skeptical thing, but his information has become more prominent and relevant as the years have come on, gone on, and people in the community and everyone else are starting to realize that that's the case. And he
Maybe
has a
maybe
show.
realizing too late.
I mean, I guess it's never too late, but the information that he's coming out with is, like these corporations that exist, these black operations corporations that work in hand with organizations like the shadow agencies, like DARPA, NSA, CIA, all that. Like there are other corporations that are
Kinetic,
not. What's that?
kinetic,
Yeah, I mean,
two
there's.
Qs.
Yeah,
I was
Raytheon, Boeing, Lockheed Martin. There are corporations behind these corporations that are the black operations corporations, like Monarch and Kruger and Shoreline and Ultimate and CyberLife and Arasaka and General Dynamics. There are all these corporations that come from the files that they're disclosed on video games and movies, but they're actually real.
Do you
And
want
so
to drill down onto one particular series of missions, or
I just like all my memories are like I can go off the top of my head like one because they're in fragments. They're fragmented because the soul, they're altars and then the fragments, and I was taken as a kid, all my stuff fragmented and stuff, but I'm putting back the pieces of each altar and all that stuff. So I remember a mission where I was on a space station, and like everybody was scrambling around on this space station. We were obviously being attacked, and I remember going up to this door, and this person pops open this doorway, and I remember going to this door, and a metal slide just appeared in front of me. Like it was just like a metallic slide just appeared in front of me, and I slid down this metallic slide, and it just popped into this cockpit of a fighter of some sort of fighter, and the cockpit was a bubble 360 degree canopy around me, and it had like a seat suspended in the middle of it, and I got into the cockpit. Then I was launched out into space, and I just remember being in space, and there just being this giant space battle going on. And I just remember it was so vast. Like it was the space station was as big like as New York City. Like I just remember how big it was. And there was a giant battle going on. And I remember there were ships crashing into the space station. I was like dogfighting different vessels. I was strafing like other vessels, blowing them up. And then I got shot. Like I got shot, and I remember when I got shot, I died, but then I appeared in this room full of other super soldiers. So I wasn't died. I just kind of like transferred my body into another one. And then that's when I woke up from that memory. And then when I woke up, I had a pain right here in my side from where I had been shot. Like and that's what I was remembering, one of my altar's memories when that happened.
a little bit like Battlestar Galactica,
It was a lot like Battlestar Galactica, if that's what you want to.
the remake?
Yeah, it was. The ships look like that. They look like Battlestar ships. The space station looked like that. What I was put into, the fighter that I was put into, actually, they show it in Lost in Space. Like there's in the newer version of Lost in Space with the I don't know, that guy from Friends in it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
they show a fighter in that has a bubble. It has a bubble canopy, and it has like it has an oscillating thing, and that's what it felt like I was in, because I had that 360-degree canopy where you can look all around. So that's what I was in. That's what I think I was in that time. Something like that.
It's a little bit like the belly gunner of a B-17.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, you know what
Ex-
I'm talking about.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, the
it's
turret
her.
gunner
Yeah,
like that. But
yeah.
you had full motion to see everything around you. But yeah, that was just that was one memory. And then just another memory I had was we were on a mission where we were infiltrating a deep underground military base. And I remember I had to take out someone that was guarding a door. And then I remember being in the deep underground military base, and I remember having to fight more people, but I remember using telekinesis. And I remember just taking them and just throwing them against the walls with telekinesis. And then I remember we were there for a rescue mission, because I remember rescuing children. I remember getting some children, and I remember 3 children in white uniforms following me. And then I remember going out into it kind of looked like the shores of I looked like it was in Europe. It looked like I felt like I was in Europe, because it looked like those cliffs of Scotland and all that, like it felt like that area. So I remember with these kids, I was coming out, and I remember them going behind me, and we were coming to get distracted. But then I remember this other entity coming, and it kind of like I remember it being far away, but then it teleported right into my face, and then I had to start fighting it. And then my that's when I woke up from my memory. So I don't remember any more from that, but I found out from the files, because I was able to explain that mission to Peter the Insider, and he was able to tell me that we were able to get those children out. That mission was actually successful.
Any details on the being? I don't want to call them aliens.
They, like Peter actually said, that was an aspect of something that they had created, that they're working on, all them, like you said that they're creating all these other beings and stuff. That was a project that they were doing called Wall Rider. It was some sort of project called Wall Rider. That was basically an unstoppable Lichtsoldaten, a light soldier, a super soldier I was going against.
Could you say that again, just for pronunciation purposes?
Like they can be called different things. Lichtsoldaten or super Soldaten is how you say super soldier in German. But there are different levels of them, and obviously they're always advancing them. As far as I know, I'm a Generation 6 super soldier, but obviously they're coming out with higher, more advanced generations as time goes on.
This is fascinating. What about the German infrastructure? How do people live? What's it? It must. Well, I mean, explain. What's a typical day in a facility like that?
So what I found out though from the files, from what I was remembering, and the files, is like they're living in a parallel reality, where the Nazis won World War II. And in this reality, it's like the advanced technology is open. It's open. It's not hidden, and so they're much more advanced. Everything is more efficient there. Everybody's got a purpose. It is like it's ran through a different form of government, because this is a parallel reality where the Nazis won. So that's where.
I'm not too sure it is a parallel reality, because they did win.
Well, it is. It's merging. That reality is merging. We're merging.
I mean, I know certain informants. Our governments have all been run by secret German intelligence.
Right, we're merging with that reality. So that's what I'm saying is in the future, that's what we're going to be living in, is in a reality where the Nazis won World War II, which is the actual truth. That's part of disclosure. That's going to be part of disclosure. That's going to be part of bringing this technology out, med beds, advanced craft and stuff. That's going to be part of the disclosures, knowing that the Nazis won World War II. And this is the phase 2 of disclosure, because phase 1 was the first phase where people are, starting to see things in the sky, starting to have the questions. Phase 2 is going to be where the engineered what catastrophes are going to happen, but then they're going to be able to release the technology like MedBed, and that's taking place from 2025 to 2029 is phase 2 of disclosure.
i.e., starting right now.
So I'm saying by 2029, we'll have med beds and we'll have anti-gravity craft out and stuff like that. I'm hoping that what I've always hoped is it's going to be like tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? But like that's what phase 2 is rolling out the truth so they can roll out these med beds and anti-gravity craft and all this technology that's been suppressed.
But I mean, I was talking with a gypsy there a week ago, and she was saying all this control, all this complete control, Chinese type of total control with a K, isn't going to happen right now, but it's going to be in our immediate future.
Yeah, I mean, that's I mean, it's already here. Like, everything. Big Brother is watching us. It is already underneath control. It's for us to wake up from this and be liberated from knowing that we're living underneath a complete surveillance state society. It's completely George Orwell, 1984. That's the civilization we live in. And it's going to be up to humanity. Like, either we're going to want to continue to be enslaved or liberated, and that's what either way it's going to go. The two different ways it's going to go.
I mean, this is what Bob Osborne explained about Zender down in the southwest in Cornwall, where the Nazis, they had a very deep interest in what was going on there because of the two ley lines, and Aleister Crowley, the Fabian agenda, technocratic controls, and the logo of the London School of Economics has got a sheep in wolf's clothing. No, a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Continue. Did you just keep whatever comes to mind?
Yeah, so I do have all these memories coming back, and I know I'm remembering the future because I've even seen the passing of Nibiru happen.
I have a big problem with that. Nibiru is, my understanding is that the so-called whoever that arrived around about the 1700s, or Queen Elizabeth I, was a Valon race from a twin star system. This is the narrative, right? I'm not saying the narrative is Velos is a twin star system, and the wandering Nibiru is on that system. It's not on ours, right? But there is incoming right now. There is incoming stuff, big rocks coming, and there's major issues with the sun happening right now. Insofar as it's getting a lot of dust into its plasma, and it could nova.
It's reacting. It's reacting from something too. That's the thing, is it's reacting from something. And I like, from what I have gathered and stuff, it's reacting from Nibiru coming into the system. And like, I've had the memories of seeing it in the sky and it getting closer, and then it actually being in our atmosphere. And then looking up and seeing a planet like covering the whole atmosphere as far as you can see, and then it looking like a technological society on that whole planet, like highly advanced. And then I remember it going away after it passes, because I believe that this has happened before because it says it happens every 3,600 years.
That's where the Nibiru Vatican thing was printed into our alleged time, but I don't go with that. Other things are happening.
I mean, it could. I don't know. I'm just saying stuff of what I'm remembering.
Yeah,
and stuff.
the Zechariah. Okay, I'm talking narratives here. I'm not talking actuals. The Zechariah Sitchin version of the Sumerians and the Anunnaki and all that is a Vatican trick.
Okay.
They actually arrived something like about this thing about Tartaria and the Tartarian technology was kept alive by Tesla, but a lot of it's still around in the way that churches and stuff. So this is something which is some kind of reality trick that's happened at least around about the 1700s.
I mean, I know there's misinformation and disinformation out there, so I'm always open. You know what I'm saying? I'm never closed-minded.
So that's two narratives. The actual Nibiru, the narrative on this, according to the Akashic, is that they arrived relatively recently. The so-called Velos system group of ETs wanted to. This place was the closest that was suitable for them. And then the rest of them, like 99% of them, says, no, we're not going to stay here. We're going to move on to something else. But only about 250,000 stayed. And they took over the elite. They took over all our things. That was the Anunnaki. But the other group of them were the Hathors. And they stayed, and they were the Tibetan, the Dalai Lama and that lot. And that was a highly, highly structured them and us society, which very total slavery, enslavement, subhuman type of society in Tibet. That's that narrative. And we have a problem of whose narrative is getting us to make it real. But I mean, this is this is where our technology has been completely rewritten in the science way back in the 1800s. Because when I looked at some aerial photographs of around here in 1900, when we were training Air Corps to get mapping and aerial photographs, they took a lot of aerial photographs around here. And the quality of roads around here was way far too advanced to have just been built in the age of the motor car. So something odd has happened in the mid 1850s, and there's been some kind of switch. And that's my look at it.
Because a little intervention.
Yeah, I mean, this is why the Nazis had the advanced technology, because they went ahead with the real physics of how you got warp speed and how you got faster than light.
That is, and I know that physics though too, because in 4-dimensional science physics that we acknowledge here, which says that time is linear, it only has one dimension of time.
Yeah.
In the 6-dimensional cosmology and interdimensional physics, that's where there's 3 dimensions of time, which allows for time travel to be possible.
Yeah.
And that's what the Nazis were experimenting with, because it is occult, it is hidden, and it does have to do with psychic ability and mental ability.
Yeah.
Because the mind is what our science on this level doesn't acknowledge.
Exactly. In other words, we've been tricked using Einsteinian physics to stick us in 3D plus time, with the so-called space-time, and that's why we're trapped with our viewpoint, whereas the Germans didn't use Einsteinian physics. And this goes back to J.P. Morgan and all that lot in the 1800s. And that's why you had a Titanic, where you held they held a party for all their business rivals and sank it.
Right.
It's the oldest trick. Oldest trick in the book.
the key to all this is psychic ability and the
Yes.
mind.
Yes.
And that's what that's why it's all and woo woo and all that stuff when you go down the conspiracy rabbit hole, but it is the mind and unlocking the mind. And that's what the Nazis were experimenting with, and the psychic ability and all of the interdimensional realms, and that they were also harvesting adrenochrome because they knew that gave access to interdimensional realms.
And that goes
And
back to the Vatican and the fake Jesus thing of the gods, the Romans relaunched. They did a Tony Blair on the Christian church. They remarketed it. And the churches and the popes involved with all that, which is why women were attacked, because they had that innate, the suppression of the divine feminine, which was when the Notre Dame in Paris, that was a device which was to suppress the divine feminine and women's intuitive powers in the so-called civilized West.
Yes, yep, that's it. And because that's where I know I got my abilities. It comes from my mom's side.
Yeah.
It comes from my grandma's side. And, when I got hold of my files, obviously that's why I understood why I was targeted, why I was, used in these programs, was because of genetics and psychic ability, and, it being a mental ability that is innate in certain bloodlines. So, everybody has it, but it's obviously more developed in certain bloodlines.
Which is why bloodlines are so important.
Mm-hmm. Right. And, the Native American bloodline, that's one I know is targeted heavily by the Nazis because of their connection with, psychic ability. But that's the main key they're looking for,
and
is that
so-called Irish bloodlines, tribe of Dan, all that stuff.
Celtic, yep, Celtic. The Viking, Viking bloodlines, because these were all like Gnostic lineages. Well, like I was like you brought up that pole shift book. I'm just gonna go off of that because when I started to awaken, I got access to the Emerald Tablets of Thoth the Atlantean, and I found that those tablets in the book Awakening to Zero Point by Greg Braden. And when I found the tablets, the Emerald Tablets of Thoth the Atlantean, it actually gives the account of the sinking of Atlantis and tells what happened, because they were in a temple, and they talk about the people splitting open the atmosphere, and then the Great Flood happening. And then they talk about the priest of Atlantis going on a spaceship, flying on the wings of the morning over to the land of the hairy barbarians, which they know as Egypt, which they called Egypt, and then landing there. And then once they got there, they got out, and they said that they were the hairy barbarians. They started attacking them with cudgels and spears because there was an advanced race landing there. But then they showed them their display of magic science, which he says he raises a staff and slams it down, and a ray of vibration goes out. So then the Egyptians saw how powerful they were, and then he talks about how Atlanteans, how they rose up the Egyptian civilization to what they are. So that is the connection between Atlantis and Egypt. And I was gonna just with the pole shifts and stuff. It talked about in those tablets, because it's prophetic. It's talked about how Atlantis will rise again.
Yes, that's the whole thing. Daniel List had done a lot. Have you followed him?
I'm not sure about Daniel
List. He's doing a heck of a lot of stuff on the Bimini Island and all that sort of stuff, the Forbidden Zone. Personally, I think he got too close to something, and personally, I think he's been told to stay in a particular patch and don't leave it.
Okay,
personally.
that makes sense, because I know that's what happens with this. So I'm just like, I'm waiting for my time to come, but I'm still not shutting up. I'm never going to
keep talking.
Yeah.
We're
I'm never gonna
rolling.
stop.
If just think of anything you want to talk about, and we just keep going.
Yeah, with just that, it was important to mention the Emerald Tablets because, he talks about, and my book is called Son of the Morning because in the book I wrote it with 33 chapters for a reason, but each chapter begins with a phrase from the Emerald Tablets. But there's one tablet that says, um, in the future, when the man shall harness the lightning and fly on the wings like birds, then shall the time of great warfare begin. A battle will betwixt the forces. But then shall come forth the sons of the morning, giving their edict to the children of men, telling them to stop striving against thy brother, for only thus can you come to the light. And he's talking about now, because when he's talking about men being able to harness the lightning and fly on the wings like birds, he's talking about, military power, us controlling the weather, all that stuff. So he's talking about now. And then, but he's also talking about when this time happens, the sons of the morning will come forth. You know what I'm saying? And the sons of the morning are our friends in higher places, our brothers and sisters, that are advanced. And, when World War III looks like it's about to break out, that's when I believe that they're going to show themselves, tell us that we have to stop striving against thy brother, for only thus will we be able to come to the light. So that's what I think is coming. I think that's what's gonna unfold here.
Is there anything we can do individually to sort of make this happen? Because it's getting very dark in this country. It's we have a. Where do we find hope, so to speak? I mean, personally, I think we have to take action and don't expect some aliens to come down and sort it all out for us. We have
That's what
we
they want.
have to fix our mess.
That's what they want. That's definitely what they want. Is to liberate ourselves. We have to liberate ourselves. We have to hold these people accountable for all the things they've kept secret, all the lies that they've told. The reason. We have to demand that happens, and that's done through a governmental upheaval. Because the government's got to change, but that's what's going to happen again. Is there's going to be another revolution, because it's going to get so bad that it's going to lead to no choice but another revolution happening. But we're going to need to be guided and directed underneath one common understanding, and that understanding is Illuminism. And that's why I've introduced the Illuminati and the Pythagorean Illuminati, because they are coming forward with the religion of the future.
And this is what you're doing now is I don't want to say the word preach, but I mean, this is where people need to educate themselves.
That is true. That's what I'm doing is before time, because in the future, you don't have people worshiping Jesus Christ. You don't have that's all gone. It's Star Trek society. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's unified. And that's what Illuminism does, and that's what a meritocracy does, and that's what social and national capitalism
Explain
does.
those terms, a meritocracy. What do you mean by all that?
So, okay. So right now, politically, the world is under control by democracy and monarchy. Both of those governments are just completely ruled by the elite and the privileged that have been ruling over us, which is known as the old world order. Yeah. So the people of privilege are in the positions, and these are ruled by the markets, because the people with the most money have the power. And so that's why, the people are in the position they're in, because they're privileged. So what a meritocracy does, and this is the way the advanced civilizations run things, is it eliminates privilege. And so you're only put into positions of power by merit and actual talent and actual, and the privilege is taken away, because there's a whole new economic system that takes away the whole imbalance of the wealth right now, because you have the elite and then you have the rest of us, which this system is the predatory free market Zionist capitalist system.
Which is the Federal Reserve and all that sort of stuff people have been talking about since the last 100 years.
That's enslaving us. And so that takes all the money and puts it in the 1%'s hand, the billionaires, which makes the imbalance. So a social and nationalist capitalist system, takes all the money from Wall Street and gives it to Main Street, gives it to the people. There's a cap put on how much that you can earn. And that's actually needed, so people can't earn. You don't have people with $55 billion.
Yeah.
So
is that what we call Jazera thing?
I'm not going to say it's that, but it is the system that's going to dialectically, through evolution, come in and replace the predatory free market Zionist capitalism after it falls, because it's in its falling stage right now, as is democracy and as is monarchy.
Would you be able to sort of talk about the different type numbers or types, or do you have any other images of these craft that you could maybe provide? Or
I just have the information I know, because obviously when I first became awoken, I learned about the TR3, and then the black triangle, and learned about that. And then when I started realizing that I was having black triangles flying around me all the time that were cloaked, being a super soldier, because they do monitor super soldier. We are person of interest. We're targeted individuals. Yeah. So they do this. They neurologically monitor us, and it's all for a reason.
Dr. Robert Duncan referred to that as mind hacking of some kind.
Yeah, they can do that because they come into my dreams too, and they'll actually warn me in my dreams about not to say stuff sometimes. But I keep saying stuff anyways, and I haven't stopped. So basically, when I learned about the TR series, TR3, I learned about that. But then when I got a hold of Peter the Insider, he was the first one that I actually heard mention the TR6. Right. So he was like, before anyone, and I had been in the field for a while. He was the first one that brought that into the field, that I heard brought that into the field.
Explain how you've said you've physically seen Peter. Explain how that all happened.
Well, I mean, I haven't physically seen him. Right. I've seen him in dreams. Yeah. I've seen him in dreams. I've not physically seen him. But I've been on different missions with him. I've saved his life. He's saved mine. We've captured high value targets. One of the captures that was done was by Klaus Schwab. Klaus Schwab was one of the high value targets that were captured by Kruger and by Delta, because Kruger is working in hand with Delta Force. And
explain that event, can you, if you can?
Yes, I can, because it was when was it? It was last year. It was in April of last year that I had a memory come back where I was in a forest, and it was dark, and we were going in with a team and infiltrating this highly advanced mansion. Like it looked like a highly nice mansion, and I remember going into the mansion. I remember sneaking around in there. I remember people being in the mansion, but them not knowing that we were there. And then I remember going into a room and seeing someone there, and then I remember that's when my memory was wiped, or that's when I woke up. But then I had woken up the next day, and then heard about there was intel came out that Klaus Schwab had been captured by a Delta Force team, and that it would say in mainstream media that he was being hospitalized on that day. And so I looked on mainstream media, and then it did say that. It said that he had been hospitalized. And then a month later, he stepped down from his position. And so I know, and then I got filled in by Peter. There's actually an episode where we talk about that mission, and he fills in all the rest of the details of that mission of Klaus Schwab's capture as a
Is that
high value
available
target.
on another platform? Another?
Yeah, it's on disclosures. Jessica Morocco.
Yes,
Uh,
very
has
fine
it
lady.
on.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she has it on disclosures. I'll send you the episode. But we go over that. We go over the TIRAP program, Targeted Individual Research Advanced Project. We go over some different stuff on that. So
What's the TIRAP program? By the way, just for the record, just as we were talking about your operation with Mr. Schwab, my recorder blew another spanner.
Yep. No. I've been getting. It's going on all around me. Like people around me are getting, like my friends' businesses are getting targeted. She's having weird people come into her business and stuff. And like there's just all sorts of targeting going on around me. My family is all getting targeted. Your stuff cutting out is very clear that they're listening. They're targeting this right now. But they're not doing anything against me because I got protection. So I'm not afraid.
Hey, I got a bit of protection here. Okay.
Yeah. I
got
the
friends.
The family's looking out for me. My life family's looking out for me. So I'm able to do this. And what was I saying about TIRAP? TIRAP, because being a targeted individual, and then aiding that with being a MyLab, because a lot of people that are targeted individuals don't associate it with being a MyLab, but that's usually the case, is why they're targeted. So all the hundreds of thousands of people that are, saying about being targeted, they're also MyLabs as well. And so I learned about the TIRAP program from Peter and his files, because he was able to release the information on the program, be able to explain to me what TIRAP was, the Targeted Individual Research Advanced Program, the monitoring, the surveillance, what DARPA was doing with neurologically monitoring us to see what's going on with us with like the supernatural and paranormal, with like out-of-body experiences. They're following us too in our out-of-body experiences. So there's some deep stuff going on in the TIRAP program, which everybody in the community is involved in this.
And we're talking about the full disclosure type, what we're all talking about. And I have to say, we've had issues with the new full disclosure now issue, but that's a separate thing. And we've got a conference in December here with 4 people from the States talking about the whole full disclosure now thing. And I want to hopefully get a couple of British experiencers in that field to come forward if they want to. We've got this platform. So this is all extremely fascinating. Continue. I think we'll. Do you want to go for another half hour? Would that fit?
No, I probably got like 15 minutes left.
Okay.
But
okay.
Part of what is going on here is like, because Victor Hugo said there's one thing more powerful than all the armies of the world, and that is an idea whose time has come. Because it's an idea that is what's going to take that changes all of this. And because they know we create our reality, they know and so they've been able to use our minds to create this reality that we're living in, with all the mind control, all the propaganda, all the misinformation, disinformation. The world we've been living in is a product of all that.
Which is why they trick us. They get us to dig our own graves, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Right. And so what I'm doing is I'm using a lot of different things. Like I'm using movies and disclosure movies, because there was a movie called Tomorrowland, a Disney movie called Tomorrowland. And it shows a lot of disclosure in that. It shows interdimensional travel. They go into another dimension.
How old is that movie? Is that a recent movie or an old one?
It's more recent, I think like 2013 or whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, you can watch that, because in that movie they show interdimensional travel. They literally go into another dimension, and there's another civilization living there that's connected, and they're connected. They show, looking glass technology. They show that because they show, and then they show like tachyonic ability to be able to see into the future and stuff. So there's stuff shown in there. But in that movie, I say an idea. One thing is stronger because in that movie, the whole world is thinking about the end, the doom. You know what I'm saying? Gloom and doom, doomsday, which is what's being projected on us to create. But this one girl, she is not down with that. She's seeing something different. You know what I'm saying? She's seeing a prosperous, future, full of light and all that stuff and hope. And so, but it's her idea, her vision that is able to overcome everybody else's, because she's able to hold that. You know what I'm saying? So she doesn't let the doom and gloom and the Armageddon stuff overtake her.
It's a cult. There's a death cult from Venice, the so-called Venetians, but it's also the king's new clothes nursery rhyme.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure about that one.
Well, it's a young kid sees the king has new clothes, but he doesn't have any clothes. He's naked. So
right, Emperor's new clothes.
The Emperor's, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But that's what I'm saying though, is because what this is what the elite know too, because all this information that I'm coming out with is what the elite know, and that's what the Illuminati are. The Pythagorean Illuminati are getting out is the elite information. They're giving it out, and so they don't want people to know what a new world order actually is. So that's how they've been able to create a conspiracy and everything around the Illuminati and the new world order to misdirect people from what that actually is, because what it actually is it's a new political paradigm, a new religious paradigm, and a new economic paradigm, which is it's a new world, which is what a Star Trek future looks like. So a new world order is what a Star Trek future looks like. And that idea of a new world order is what they want to keep people from creating. So they made it bad. They tainted it and made it into the surveillance state, the reptilian, like all the politicians and stuff controlling you. That's not a new world order. That's an old world order that's being continued and perpetuated on. So they've been able to. This is what is known as the Armageddon conspiracy, and it is the conspiracy of all conspiracies, and it is all connected. And that's what the Illuminati are explaining, because they do explain everything.
Well, I think that's probably a good point to end on, really.
Yeah, I do too.
Well, it's Sunday afternoon, 17th of August, 2025. Thank you very much.
Not
Anthony,
problem,
it's good to hear you, and we'll do a take two. It's really good to hear you on all this, and this is very important about getting us to make the right reality. We're like number crunchers.
Yeah. Part of seeing the technology of the planes and the holograms, that's like key, because people got to see what's real. And I'm telling you, all your listeners right now, like you have to see the technology. Go outside and look, and what you think is a plane is not a plane. I'm telling you on that level, and I'm getting people ready for, because they call it the great intimidation is what we're getting ready for. And it's gonna be scary to people unless you know what you're seeing.
Anyway, thank you very much. Until next time.
All right.
And just finally, Starship Ramtha and the Last Days. Is that a story? Is it a book or a film or something?
It's Ramtha the Enlightened One. It is a mystery school in Washington State.
Yeah.
And I'm part of this mystery school, and Ramtha is one of my guides. Ramtha is one of my he's a higher dimensional being, and I've gotten a lot of my knowledge from Ramtha. So he's revealing what's going to be happening in his school.
Okay, well, we look forward to that. Until next time, same channel, same place. Next exciting episode. See you next time.